back to see you at graduation because I hadn't thought about it for a very long time. I think after you graduate a few times, you feel like areas. At the Wits School of Education, I learned so much about myself. I failed first year. You come into a space where they're speaking English all day, every day, and you're like, oh, Nkosi yami.
Welcome back to 4TV Tells Lovers. It's a beautiful Saturday and you are chilling with me, your girl Lula Blue. Fun fact, as I walked into the conference room, I had no idea I was going to meet the powerhouse known to many as Dr. Thokozane Dyosini, the woman behind the hashtag See You at Graduation and the children's book titled Corey in the Universe. Do enjoy this video I recorded of her giving a speech about her journey, and don't forget to like, comment and share this video.
First and foremost to the Wits School of Education, Professor Ngambule, thank you for your leadership, your support. Sis Hale, thank you as well. All your support over the years. Today is just a full circle moment for me. I'm having goosebumps because I started here many moons ago, and now to have come back with everything I've achieved thanks to this institution, it's very humbling. So thank you so much for having me. As mentioned, my name is Dr. Thokozane Dyosini. The title is still very overwhelming. Sometimes I often leave it out of conversations because I feel like it sets a stage before I'm able to speak. But I love how the first speaker, they spoke about the human element of being yourself and who you are in your fullness. And when I saw the topic for the invitation that I was asked to come and speak here today, I was actually thinking back to see you at graduation because I hadn't thought about it for a very long time. I think after you graduate a few times, you feel like you don't remember the first time you did it and how you got there, how you felt, who you were, and what it is you were working towards. And having come full circle now, having a doctorate and graduated so many times, I think it's actually so important to go back to that moment at undergrad when I was still a novice student and I had no idea what I was doing. I'll give you a little background about me. When I came to the Wits School of Education, I was very overwhelmed. I didn't know what university was about. I'm a first generation graduate in my family. I'm the first female in my family to be a professional. My mom and her mom before that were both domestic workers. So it's just so beautiful to have broken that generational curse in my family and be the blessing that now has opened up for all my cousins who are now studying and pursuing different careers in different areas. At the Wits School of Education, I learned so much about myself. I failed first year. So that was humbling because as the first speaker said as well, I'd never failed in my life. Never. So failure was not something I was familiar with. But now, having come of age, it was my birthday yesterday, on the 7th. And I just turned 33. I don't even know how old I am or when my birthday is. It was my birthday on the 7th of August, and now at 33, I look back and I'm like, wow, that failure was necessary. Because it set me up to a place where now I know I'm not starting from scratch when I fail, I'm starting from experience. There are things that happened in that first year when I came to Wits and I saw the big lawns, the big buildings. It's many people from all walks of life. I had friends, all races, all cultures who came from different schools, township schools, rural schools, private schools, and I was coming from a public school, and I felt like I was not equipped to be here. I felt like I did not fit in. You come into a space where they're speaking English all day, every day, and you're like, oh, Nkosi yami. What on earth am I doing? There are people who know so many different things that you've never heard of. I remember meeting people who went to private schools, and there were certain words that they used all the time, like nuances and mundane. And I went home the one day and I Googled mundane. I was like, what does mundane mean? And I'm like, oh, that's what it means. Why didn't my teachers ever use these kind of words when I was, at school? But the joy of coming to a university is the exposure to many different people. And on my journey, as I was exposed to all of these people who some of them have become my friends, some of them have become colleagues, I learned that as you are navigating the space, you're finding yourself through a joint experience of community. See You at Graduation was a campaign or a project that I started during my honors year. So a group of my friends and I, we all came into Wits School of Education for our undergrad degrees, and we all did various subjects and majors. Some were mathematics, sociology, science, and language, whatever it was, foundation phase, senior phase. And in that journey, when we all graduated our first degrees, the one thing I realized when I graduated is that I'm on my own. Remember, I failed first year? All my friends graduated a year before me. And I didn't know how painful of an experience that would be until I graduated. Because you realize that today is a special day for you, and you thought you'd be taking pictures with your friends, everybody would be there, you'd meet people's parents, and you're on your own. And luckily for me, I have a mom and a brother who are so loving. I have family, my uncles, my aunts, my granny. Everybody came and supported me. I had an incredible day, and I was showered with so much love. But at that moment, when I walked across the stage for 30 seconds, I felt like I had made it. I understood why I failed first year. I understood why everybody had to leave me behind, because getting a degree is not a joint group project. It's not a group project. In essence, it is, because you have community, you're building your life, but it's you who does the work. It's you who shows up for an exam. It's you who stays up late studying. I remember when I was still studying my undergrad, one of my neighbors in our neighborhood where we grew up, a lot of us were the same age. So all of us went to different schools, and at the time we were at different universities. And I would stay up until midnight, 4 a.m. studying. And my neighbor came to my mom the one day and she said, "You know what, Magatobo? I actually wait up every night to see the light on at your house, and I know that's Togo's bedroom. And when I see her light on, I go back and I wake up my daughter and I tell her that they're studying next door." Imagine. I always wondered why that girl didn't like me. Now I know. Because her mom was waking her up at ungodly hours. But that's the power of motivation. The fact that her mom knew which room I was in and that I'm up studying. But what she didn't know is that my mom was up studying with me. My mom would stay up every night with me, making me tea, making sure I'm warm, I have food, do I have a pen? Just that moral support of being a present parent went a long way. And she did it throughout my degrees until I graduated my doctorate. I just can't even in words explain what it means to have community. But bringing it back to see you at graduation. So in my honors year, I'm with a group of my friends, and I don't know if they gave you the same speech they gave me when I started at Wits, that look around you. To your left, to your right. You know where I'm going with this. Yeah. It's reality. By the time you get to honors and you're looking to your left and to your right, the people that you sat next to are gone. Some people are going to go on and work. Some people are going to drop out. Some people are going to get pregnant. There's a lot of different dynamics that are happening that cause some people don't have money to come back. Some people don't have capacity to come back. So by the time we got to honors, there was a handful of us, I think there were 5 of us. And in our honors year, we literally looked around and we were like, guys, what are we doing here? This is some crazy business. We have no idea what is going on. Postgraduate is so different to undergrad. You really take it for granted that that transition needs community. Postgraduate is such a lonely journey. So I started a WhatsApp group for me and my friends. I said, guys, I'm starting this WhatsApp group. It was very early social media days. It wasn't what social media is now. In our WhatsApp group, we would just say, guys, we're keeping each other accountable for assignments. When there's an assignment, when there is a due date, please let me know. In the group, let's encourage each other. And the first time we really just started using the group, I remember saying to them, guys, no matter how hard it gets, just remember why we're here. I need to see you guys at graduation. And I was trying to heal my undergrad wound of not having seen my friends at graduation. So I kept saying, guys, okay, let's work hard, let's do this, see you at graduation, I'll see you at graduation. And one day I thought, you know what, this is kind of wasted just in our WhatsApp group. Let me extend it and put it on Facebook and see, just share my journey. Let me share my journey. Maybe there's someone out there who needs to hear my story or see what I'm going through because it will resonate. And I started posting. You can see how far back social media was. Facebook. Who still has Facebook? Nobody. So on my Facebook profile, I would just share my journey. Guys, I'm doing this assignment. It's so hard. Guys, I'm doing this. I've started my research. This is my topic. I'm so passionate about teachers. I'm passionate about this. I'm figuring it out. See you at graduation. That was just my daily motivation. And then my mom was like, why don't you kind of create this into a business? And I thought, what do you mean into a business? I don't know anything about business, about sales, about marketing. And she was like, just think of something that you use every single day when you're studying or in your academic journey, and let's brand it. Every night before I started studying, I'd make a cup of coffee or make a cup of tea. So then the inspiration came to me to brand a mug. So I started branding my mugs, #see you at graduation. And it's the craziest thing. People bought into it. They actually thought, this is cool, this is something I can stand behind, I'm feeling this, I can relate. I'm a student, I'm a mom of a student, I'm a cousin of a student, I'm a friend of a student, I know somebody who's in academia, I know somebody who's struggling, I know someone who needs encouragement, I know somebody who needs a cup of coffee, I know somebody who needs a break, because essentially that's also what it represented. Taking stock of your life and taking the time to have a break while you're studying. And I sold over 100 of these mugs. But can I tell you something? I have no idea what I did with the money. I just, to this day, I cannot tell you if that was a successful business or not. But the impact was phenomenal. As mentioned in my bio, it became an international thing where students from all over were in my DMs or commenting on my posts, especially when I moved onto Instagram. Students from all types of places were like, oh my gosh, this is so great, I can't wait to graduate. I didn't understand why I was studying until I saw your story. And now that I'm in it, I get it. There's actually something at the end of all of this, there will be joy. And I was like, yes, that's the point. I think especially as first generation graduates, we don't know why we're studying for the most part. You know, as mentioned, sometimes you're doing it for your parents. Sometimes you're doing it for the money because they said, study this, you'll make money. Or somebody said, you know what, there are a lot of opportunities in this, you can go overseas, you can do this. Or somebody says, go to engineering, there's a lot of guys there, you'll meet a husband. There are so many different things and reasons why you would study something. But in understanding once I graduated that I'm actually doing this to empower myself and give myself the future I've always wanted is what is important. And it's important as you're working your journey towards graduation, remember why you started. Only you know why you're doing this. It's torture to wake up every day at 4 o'clock and study. It's torture to walk from the Mandela Bridge to main campus to take a shuttle to the Wits School of Education. It is torture to walk across the Mandela Bridge with an umbrella that overturns because the wind is crazy, with your little backpack, because you have lunch and you have your books and you're carrying your future on your shoulders. It is torture to get to school and see other people arriving in the latest One Series and GTI, and you took a taxi. It is torture to see everybody in designer clothes, but you know all your parents can afford is to shop at Mr. Price, Jake, Pep. It is torture to see people with the latest hairstyles, and you know, Lepondo Leli. You know while you are doing this. You are the only person who knows what's best for you, and you are the only person who's going to give yourself the future that you want, because nobody is coming to save you. As humbling as that experience was for me, that's what I learned. I used to be the girl who says, I'm actually only doing this doctorate for my mother-in-law, so that when I'm spending my husband's money, I just say, but Dali, don't forget. There's something in my go. You know, it might not be much, but there's something there. And I'm only now unlearning that behavior and unlearning that negative talk, because in essence it is negative talk. I'm minimizing my potential, my experiences, my heart, my passion, and the voice that I bring into every single thing that I do. See you at graduation was such a phenomenal experience for me that now it's opened up opportunities for me to know that I'm a creative. I'm actually passionate about creating, and I can, from anything, any little vision that I have, I can create something that will resonate with others. After hashtag See You at Graduation, I've now gone on to write a children's book. I've gone on to start 2 podcasts. And in the first podcast, what I essentially wanted to do was create a platform where I could speak through my academic journey. Now that I've come into academia, it's a whole new experience. And it's just so incredible to see everything that I learned growing up as an undergraduate student, as a postgraduate student, having supervisors and having leadership at this very university. If you hear nothing that I've said today, I want you to remember this. You are in good hands. When I got to the Wits School of Education, there were not leaders of color. Leaders. There were no deans of color. There were no assistant deans of color. There were no registrars of color. You guys have that. And it means a lot, because these platforms are created for people from all walks of life to understand how you are assimilating and integrating into a community of people who know what it's like to be you. We come from places where it's not common to see people with titles. So it gets a bit awkward. You walk into a room and you want to minimize your title because you're not used to having someone call you in your full name, in the fullness of the work that you've done. You have imposter syndrome. You walk into a building and you think, you know what, I know what I'm doing, but do I really? I know what I can speak to, but do I really? It's difficult to show up and walk into a room full of people and talk about things that you're an expert in. And now as an academic, I do that for a living. I have to walk into a room full of professors and doctors and people of high ranking, and you must speak with confidence, eye contact, voice, posture, chest in, stomach out, or is it stomach in, chest out? Whatever does the job. You have to show up with the confidence and the brilliance of who you are. And the power of social media now is that you have the exposure to see people like you doing incredible things. No matter what it is that you're doing, accounting, science, education, there are so many people on social media now that are resonating and speaking to the type of work that you're doing. So if you're looking for a mentor, social media is the perfect place to find it. I can tell you a personal experience. When I got my results for my PhD and I got my examiner's comments, I had this one examiner. He was irritating, to say the least. You know what he did? He read my thesis page to page, word for word. He picked up every little error. He put together connections that I hadn't thought of. He basically restructured my thesis to say, I think it will flow better if you do it this way. I think it will flow better if you put this here and you move this there. And at first when I spoke to my supervisor, I was like, oh my gosh, he's just ripped the whole thing apart. It feels like somebody took a red pen and they did this. But she said to me, no, don't look at it that way. She said, look at it as somebody having the patience, the time, and the expertise to sit down and engage with your work from a meaningful place. I would never have come to that perspective on my own. But somebody took the time. He sat down and he said, you know what, this is an interesting topic. Let me see how I can make her work better. Give her some feedback that is constructive. And tying it back to social media, during that time I was all over the place and I was on Instagram, and there was this girl that came up on my feed in her red gown, and I was like, yo, okay, God, I see the vision, okay, we're almost there, it's the victory lap. If I get through these corrections, I can get to that red gown, because that's essentially where we're going with hashtag See You at Graduation. I DM'd her. I said, hey girl, how are you? I just saw on your feed, I know this is really random, I can't remember the context of the conversation, but I said to her, does it get better? Basically, that's all I said. Does this get better? Am I going to see the end of the tunnel? And she said, you know what, take a breath, take a beat. Of course you're going to make it. Yes, it feels like it's impossible now, the comments and whatever else, but you're going to make it. And she's actually here today with me because she became my friend in real life. And that's the power of social media. So now we're just two badass doctors who get along like a house on fire. And I think the work that is happening in your life as a student and as a growing academic is give yourself room to dream. Give yourself room to reach out to people that have something that you aspire to attain. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that's the most important thing. Social media has now given us that platform to see people who are where we want to be. You can reach out to somebody and they will respond in a positive way. Don't always assume the worst, like what I do. I often do that. I always assume the worst. I'm scared to ask, to reach out. I remember once I had done the corrections and they give you your letter to say you're going to graduate, they send you another letter saying, you're short on school fees. And now I'm like, if the corrections weren't bad enough, now I need money. And as a woman, I hate asking for money. It's my worst. I don't want to ask leadership for money. I don't want to ask my mom for money. I just don't want to ask for money. But I was brave, and I asked for money. And Professor Ngambule, again, you guys are in good hands. Oh, it's going to make me cry. You guys are in good hands. I reached out to her, I sent her the letter, I said, oh, best day of my life, but I need something. Please can you see if there's any room in your budget to help cover my fees so I can graduate? She did not hesitate. I don't know how she did it, I don't know why she did it, but she did. And because of leadership like that, I am here and I've come full circle on the other side. You're never starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. Have courage, do the hard thing, ask for help, and when you're on the other side of the opportunity, pay it forward. Thank you.